There's mishandling and mistreatment of the corpse or selling remains, which you're going to have to hit in a second because we'll have to cover that before you leave, Anton. Robbing the dead body and wrong body in the coffin. So mishandling and mistreatment of the corpse, I think we've covered a couple different variations of this. But again, I always want to go back to like, how do I know? How do I know that I should call you or think about a situation? And then there's the selling of remains, which I see a link here to another place. I'll click on that later. You tell me a little bit about what's going on here, Anton.
So this was just an extreme case that we saw in the news, and I think we wrote about it at one point. So now you get a link there. There was somebody somewhere that was basically selling remains out of a morgue, and clearly that's somebody's remains that they're selling, right? And so that story struck me as crazy. And one of the things that I do, just for our website, is to show people how extreme some situations might be, so that they don't think that their situation is so extreme that they need to just let it go.
Right.
Like get some help, talk to somebody.
Yep. No, that makes total sense, and we'll put that link in here so that people can go and check that out on your website. This is an interesting one, robbing the dead body, because I think that like we've heard about these things in kind of folklore and things like that, right? And is there an obligation on behalf of the funeral home? And then this is in the process, because remember, my head immediately went to, well, the cemetery, if someone's, robbing graves, like who's liable and all that. But we're talking about the funeral home folks. So we're talking about in the process, right? The folks that are responsible for everything from time of death to getting your loved one properly buried, right, in the cemetery. Things are being stolen.
I mean, it's relatively simple and it's straightforward. Hopefully it never happens to anyone. But, a lot of times people say, I want to be buried with my insert, object here.
Sure.
Right. And, whether it's a ring, maybe it's some sort of necklace that you loved and, they
an outfit.
Right. Whatever it may be. And then, you get there on the day of the open casket and you're like, hey, where's that necklace that he's supposed to be wearing? And it's like, what necklace? Right. And it's like, I saw that also somewhere. I've never personally had a case of that, but, it's something that can happen. And so I put it out there.
Yeah, I know, it makes total sense. And that's something that, again, if you're suspicious that something like this may have happened, you should not sit on it. You're not being ridiculous. You're not just grieving. You are possibly being wronged, and there may be negligence that you should pursue.